So Jon Jones isn't fighting on UFC 295. Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira is now the co-main. And now you have Pavlovich fighting against Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight belt. Let's talk about it. Let's start it off with the positives real quick. I like Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. The more days go by, the more excited I am about this fight. Because it may not seem it, unless you follow Alex Pereira, unless you know like the backstory of Pereira. This is a legacy-defining fight for him. Because bro comes into the UFC, really his only piece of marketing is he was the guy that knocked out Adesanya in kickboxing. That's all you really knew him for. And then bro comes in, goes the distance with Bruno Silva. We're all like, oh, I'm not really sure about this Pereira guy. And then he knocks out Sean Strickland. Like, bro made him look like iCarly with this boxing stance he was rocking. Then the title fight comes around. Rest is history. Alex Pereira becomes champion, loses it. And then when I'm thinking, the trilogy is the only thing that makes sense, right? Nope. You see, you only get an immediate title rematch if you're Israel Adesanya or Conor McGregor. That's what I've learned so far. He fights Jan Blachowicz, a fight that I thought he was going to lose. And then now he's fighting, let's be real here, a injured Jiri Prochazka. Now why do I say injured here? Because bro suffered, and I quote, one of the worst, if not the worst, shoulder injury in UFC history. So call me crazy. I don't believe you can come off that type of injury and do better than you did before. Because let's be honest here. If Jiri Prochazka is going to be Alex Pereira, he is going to have to perform better than he did in the Glover fight. Because Glover was catching him with that overhand. He was catching him with that lead left hook. Here's the difference. If Glover Teixeira hits you with it, you're getting rocked, because that's a big, scary Brazilian. If Alex Pereira hits you with that Poatan, you're going unconscious. Might have spoiled my pick. I think Alex Pereira is going to win by a KO, but if anybody is going to beat the odds, it's Jiri Prochazka. So next up on the whole news cycle, whatever you're going to call this, let's talk about how Jon Jones is injured. Look, there's no other way to put it. You see, if you were going to buy the UFC 295 card purely because Jon Jones was the headliner, because I know there's a lot of you filthy casuals out there that you see Jones fighting and you say, oh, $80 must be worth it. I beg of you, buy other cards. I promise you, and I don't think I'm stepping on anybody's toes, because you got the Guru, you got Lucas Tracy, you got all these other MMA creators that are saying the same thing, and I agree with this. The card's better now. Sergey is going to put on a war with Tom Aspinall. And Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira is, again, a legacy-defining fight for both of them. This is where the controversial opinion comes in here. I was never fooled by the whole Stipe versus Jones fight. I knew what it was. It was, let's be real here, it was a present to Jon Jones. It was supposed to be an alley-oop. You retire as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC. Because let's be real here, unless you are a Jon Jones stan, Jon Jones really shouldn't be the pound-for-pound best fighter in the rankings based off stuff that he did at the light heavyweight division. We judge it by his past performances at heavyweight because that's what got him up there. Beating Cyril Gane, somebody who isn't even ranked in the top 15 pound-for-pound rankings, doesn't put you above Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. Because, listen, Stipe, even for heavyweight, is old. If you judge it by any other division, bro is a fossil. Bro is 40 years old and fighting in the UFC. And I get it. Jon Jones versus Stipe, legend against legend, the heavyweight GOAT versus the light heavyweight GOAT. Nobody is saying that's not true. But to put this into reference for you, Stipe is not coming off an injury. He has not fought in 2 years. To put this again into perspective, they stripped Francis because he didn't fight in 3 months. They forced Aljamain to fight O'Malley And they said he was inactive. Bro took maybe 6 months off for a surgery, and bro was actually injured. Stipe just wants the bag, and I respect that. That's why he's not fighting Sergey, even though Sergey's the backup. Stipe was supposed to fight. Stipe's not injured. Bro just said he wants the bag, and he's only going to fight Jon Jones. I respect that. However, the problem that I have with this, Stipe, is because you think you're going to get your matchup with Jon Jones. Jon Jones is going to be out for 8 months. Tom Aspinall versus Sergey is for an interim heavyweight belt. That means their next fight, if the world makes sense as we know it, which maybe it doesn't, things are going crazy right now, the winner of that fight is going to fight Jon Jones next, because that's what makes sense. It's a better fight, frankly. But where does that leave you? The problem is here, you can't justify making this fight again if there is a more clear title contender and you're coming off a loss to Francis Ngannou. Part of the reason that you're even fighting Jon Jones isn't because you're the heavyweight GOAT. It's because they were hoping that Jon Jones was going to finish you quicker than Francis. Most of this whole Jon Jones at heavyweight thing is to make the entirety of the MMA fan base forget about Francis Ngannou. That's just a fact here. Bro's not even in the UFC 5 video game. Paige Van Zandt is in the game. Okay, and then like a little side tangent. They put Demetrius Johnson as the 4th best flyweight in the in UFC 5. And I'm sorry, there is no flyweight currently, or has been since Bro was even in the organization, that is better than Mighty Mouse. Get that cap out of here. But there you go. I just wanted to rant about this whole situation. Everybody who has a computer is making one. So why not? That's the first YouTube video on this channel. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. Adios, guys.